But to speak about the ocean, you don't have any measurement working there. No one can say how many liters of water is there in the ocean. So we gave the word infinite. Infinite is a concept which logically we don't understand. That which is uncountable, that which is unfathomable, that which is unmeasurable, we call it infinite. When the counting doesn't work, we call it infinite. But in fact, infinite logically cannot exist. If it exists, it must have existed in one frame of time. If it exists, it would have been created sometime. But we know infinite cannot be created. So, when the realization of truth comes, people of different places, people of or rather the saints or sadhakas or seekers of truth of any place in the world, of any race or any religion, you will find their terminology could be little different, but they mean the same. Sri Ramakrishna says, the jackals of all the countries will bark or howl in the same way. So realization is always like this. We have, when we studied Kenopanishad, there is one concept. The same concept comes in Buddhism. Lord Buddha was asked this. Buddha was a scholar of Hinduism. He didn't like the ritualistic worship and all the karma kanda. So he gave up the whole thing. But he retained the essence. The very word which is the word of Buddhism called nirvana comes from Hinduism. So Buddha was asked whether God exists or not. He said, I can't say. If you say that yes, God exists, not in the sense we understand that things exist. Does this mobile phone exist? Yes, it exists. Why we say yes? Because I can hold it, I can feel it, I can see it. God doesn't exist from that way, not in that sense. You exist in front of me. God doesn't exist in that way. But for general understanding of the people, in your TV serials and movies and all that, God will come and stand in front of you, take what boon you want, etc. Yes, could be true. I have no idea. Unless you reach that truth. Then do you mean God doesn't exist? So Buddha says, no, I can't say that either. How can I say God doesn't exist when I myself exist as a spirit, as a consciousness? So think of that existence which cannot be objectified. If I objectify every object, we can say it exists or it doesn't exist. God is not from that sense which can be called exist or non-exist. It is something between existence and non-existence. Existence which cannot be objectified, a subjective existence which exists, but there is no observer of that. There is no person, individual to objectify it. How to say it exists? Maybe a little difficult to understand. There is a conversation, two conversations I will like to bring here. Sri Ramakrishna's conversation with Swami Vivekananda one, and his conversation with a devotee called Girish Chandra Ghosh. The existence of God, existence of Brahman, Sri Ramakrishna is explaining. How to explain? So he says, there are 10 pots full of water. In the afternoon, or rather in the noon, there is a sun in the sky, and there are 10 reflections because 10 pots are there. How many suns are there? So Girish told there are 11. One original, 10 reflections. If I remove one pot, how many suns are there? So he said, one real, 9 reflections. Sri Ramakrishna, okay, if I remove all the 9, how many suns remains? Just like us, Girish told, only one which is original. Sri Ramakrishna, no, you cannot say that. This is difficult. Why I can't say? This example is always told to explain one aspect of philosophy. You cannot pull it for more than one aspect. In this example, sun also is your object of perception, 10 reflections, so that's why you can say one original sun. If you are the sun, in a room, you are standing in front of 10 mirrors. How many you are there? One real me and 10 reflected me. I removed one mirror. What remains? One real me, 9 reflected me. If I remove all the mirrors, what remains? You say, the real me? No. When you say real me, you are talking about the body. That which you can objectify, you can see, you can feel, you can touch. You as a consciousness, there is no reflection anywhere. That's why philosophy is called Advaita. Why you call it Advaita? Just call it one or single. Dvaitavada and Ekavada. Correct? Why it is not called Ekavada? Why it is called Advaita? Because you cannot say one. It only exists. As soon as you have a concept of one, you cannot have a concept of one without having concept of many. If many doesn't exist, the one doesn't exist. Doesn't exist means cannot be objectified. But you exist. As your existence in deep sleep, you exist. But you don't seem to have a sense of existence. Because our sense of existence is always dualistic. Oh, I exist. I'm here. I'm sitting here. I'm speaking, etc. Which can be objectified. My body and my actions can be objectified by me. In Sushupti, there is no action. In Sushupti, deep sleep, there is no mind, no senses to objectify yourself. So you exist, but you don't have a sense of that I exist. You have a feeling, you have a realization. That's why we always say, hours and hours of meditation can be reduced to a few moments of your spiritual practice. If you try to remember what I was in deep sleep, when you wake up in the morning, you remember your dreams. But you need to remember what was my existence in deep sleep. Where mind was sleeping, when the body was sleeping, senses were sleeping, I didn't sleep. That consciousness, the eternally which is a witness, doesn't sleep. Sri Ramakrishna once told to his disciple, because God doesn't sleep, the jiva is able to sleep. The jiva is you with this name and form. And that God who doesn't sleep is my consciousness. Consciousness never sleeps. There is a continuous existence. That consciousness, it exists in deep sleep also. With combination with the mind, it exists in dream, which sees the dreams. Then with the body and senses, in a waking state, you see multiple different existences in front of you. But that consciousness continuously exists. There is no time that it doesn't exist. That's why we cannot have a thinking, a thought, or a concept about our own death. Think that you are dead. It is impossible to think because you cannot die. What you will think? You imagine that your body is lying, correct? Who is seeing that? You are seeing that. So you exist. The body is gone because you never die. That's why we don't have a sense of death. We are afraid to leave the body, but every day we leave this body in a way, which technically is called Khanda Pralaya. That dissolution which happens every day, this objective world, including your body and senses, cease to exist. Think of that what I was telling. Hours and hours of meditation, you can gain the result of that if just for a few moments also, if you try to realize your existence in deep sleep. Because it is your existence without body, without senses, without mind. But if mind is not there, how to think now? That means part of mind was there. Yes. That's why that is called deep sleep. That is not samadhi. In samadhi, that goes away. Because these two vrittis are there. When you wake up in the morning, when you slept for many hours, suddenly you wake up, oh, so many hours passed. I didn't know. I can't even, how, like this it went. I do not know anything about how these 10 hours would have passed. In the daytime, it is so difficult to pass 10 hours. Morning 7 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock. It's a long combination and accumulation of thoughts and actions. And your body is tired of this communication. So night you sleep. What you do actually? You want to give away, you want to give up not only these activities, but the activities which you are connected with is your senses and body. So body also you give up. Senses also you shut down. Mind also sleeps. But you remain. You exist. You travel in these three states: waking, dream, and deep sleep. You travel. Who is you who travels? Is God. Is to be realized. You say, what is the way? There is no way. There is the only way to understand that, yes, I am. Do you need any spiritual practice to understand that you are sitting here? It is so natural to you. Once the mind is pure and detached with the objective world, it will be as natural thinking that I am Atman. Is that easy now to say that yes, I am sitting on a chair, or I am sitting, or I am speaking, or I am hearing, whatever. That's why it is called sahaja. It is spontaneous. This realization is spontaneous. Actually, there is no sadhana to do it. This preparedness, there is no sadhana for realization. All preparations are there. You are standing in front of a mirror, for example, and the mirror is covered. All your effort is to remove the cover. To see your own reflection, you don't need to do anything. As soon as the cover is removed, you realize, this is an example, again that's a reflection. These are the thoughts. Why to? Because this will help us to understand for what spiritual practice, whichever level we are doing. All of us are here. Now I tell you, look at your face. There is a spot on your cheek. See it? How you see? There is no way to see. Can you objectify your face? You cannot. You need a mirror to objectify. So this Atman, to objectify, there is a mirror called mind. In that, I we are doing. None of us have seen our face. What we have seen is the reflection of our face, which is almost correct, but without life. In itself, it doesn't have life. If you move your head, then only reflection can move it. So it doesn't have its own existence. But if reflection only, you can say, yes, there is a spot. Now, you cannot objectify yourself. This was conversation between Sri Ramakrishna and Girish Chandra Ghosh. That if all the pots are taken away, you can't say one sun exists. No. Because you are that sun. There was a nice debate between a Buddhist scholar and a Vedantic scholar. Buddhism is also like a nihilism. Nothing exists. I also don't exist, you also don't exist, world also doesn't exist. And they proved with argument that nothing exists. The Vedantic perspective says, yes, nothing exists. I also say nothing exists. Who realizes nothing exists? He exists. That truth has to, where the realization will take place, that exists. Objective world may not exist. I can prove that you are not there. I can't prove I am not here. Second conversation is Sri Ramakrishna and the young Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji was a young man, very intelligent, studied Eastern Western philosophies and all that. Came to Sri Ramakrishna and said that Buddha was confused. He couldn't say God exists or not exists. Either he can say he exists or he can say he doesn't exist. Buddha was not sure. Buddha was confused. Sri Ramakrishna said no. He was Buddha. He was awakened himself. In reality, you cannot say God exists or not. God doesn't exist the way we understand the existence of the things around us. Separate than me, other than me. If this is a mobile phone, I can say it is my phone. Do I say in my wildest dream that I am the phone? No. Phone is my object. It could be mine out of attachment. I can say it is mine. But I can never ever say that I am the phone. I am not the phone. Then who am I? That subject which cannot be objectified. An object is that which can never become a subject. So Sri Ramakrishna told to Narendranath, no, Buddha could not say because it can't be said. Not that he didn't know. Existence of God is not an objective existence. It is beyond existence and non-existence. Not that it doesn't exist. Why? Because as a consciousness I exist. That consciousness is God. Is it my consciousness and your consciousness? Consciousness is consciousness. When name and form comes, I am me, you are you. You and me are different. If there is some unification, so you can say there are two types of people here, male and female. Still go generalization, then we say yes, here 10 human beings. No, male and female are part of that. I and you are part of that. There is one unity which is called humanity. All differences are there, but eventually they are one. So idea is this, that how that worship came. Sri Ramakrishna used to visit Brahmo Samaj. Now Brahmo Samaj was a new dispensation, Navavidhan Brahmo Samaj. It was almost started by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. It was a mixture of Vedanta, but outer cover is like Christianity. That's why you go to Brahmo Samaj, now nobody goes, it is an empty building. There are few Brahmos are there. Brahmos do not know who they are. One gentleman came and said, Swamiji, I am Brahmo, how I am different than you? And if you are a Brahmo, you are practically Nirakar God, but not Nirguna. Without form, but not without qualities. Christians, they worship God. Jesus is Son of God. Son means what we call incarnation. Jesus is Son of God. Who is God? Who is God? How to realize that God? That concept is not in Christianity. Many times people without understanding but tell the truth in one way, that it's a path. If you want to call it a religion always is to realize the truth. To realize truth, there is religion. Not to follow certain do's and don'ts or certain rituals and all that. So the Father in heaven, so you took it for granted there is a male principle. God doesn't have male and female in that. So Hinduism says, yes, if you want to worship male, you will worship also female. So the female worship came into picture. In our Vedas there is a mention of this. That's why this Durga Puja which we do is considered as a Vedic Puja. It's not Tantric Puja. Pujas are two types, Vedic and Tantric. So when you say Vedic Puja, that's why though we do puja, you can see the monks are doing puja here. Monks are doing puja here, but technically, when there is a full worship in statue from Panchami to Dashami, monks are not so. Monks can help. Monks cannot do puja. So all the centers in India where puja is done either by a brahmachari or if brahmachari not available, by a householder. But a monk cannot perform Durga Puja because it's a Vedic Puja. And a monk technically has given up Vedic rituals, karma kanda. So worship of these female principles. Now on 20th we will have a small Kali Puja. Principle is same. So coming back to this, we discussed that the whole symbolism of Durga and coming Kali Puja, so Kali, both the forms are female principles. There is a very interesting concept. That's why in Bengali some names are there. The boy name is Kali Krishna. And we had a Swami, Virajananda ji, his name was Kali Krishna Maharaj. Kali and Krishna is the same principle. From Vaishnava point of view, the reality is called Krishna. From Tantra point of view, the reality is called Kali. It's the same principle. God is God, whether you worship as male or female. That's what in our Hindu ethos or dharma we say. So when it was Durga, symbolically, and you see this great negativity couldn't be defeated by another male negativity. All your big gods could not do anything. Correct? The story goes like that. All the gods gave their powers to this female principle. So there is a list of who gave what. And there is a big list of things which God gave whom. And she is a perfect female principle. And it was so easy for her to kill this demon. So we found in Navaratri, 9 nights, these are all symbolical. In Hinduism, there are so many celebrations. You don't see that type of celebrations in other religions. But we have these celebrations. So she kills these 9 demons. Madhu, Kaitava, Shumba, Nishumbha, Chanda, Munda, Raktabija, Dhumralochana and Mahishasura. And these 9 demons represents 9 evil or bad qualities which we have. She kills these 9 demons. That's why we spend these 9 days in. Spiritually we are supposed to. But remember one thing. Maya. What is Maya? A force which misguides you. That force also is mother. Hinduism doesn't have Saturn. Hinduism doesn't have Saturn. Hinduism doesn't have, as they have Antichrist. We don't have. That positive and negative, eventually both are same divinity. Mahishasura was not free from divinity. He was also divine. Negativity. Ravana was, consciousness was there in him also. Did he not know that he is Brahman? He was a great man, he was a great scholar, he was a great sadhaka. But Ravana was a perfect representation where any side he goes. There was a war between Rama and Ravana. Ravana loves whom? Shiva. Ravana hates whom? Apparently Rama. Our hate and love is 2 different groups. For Ravana, hate and love both are practically same. In form of Rama he hates, in form of Shiva he loves. So he says, if I am defeated, I get Rama. If I win, I get Shiva. Hinduism, whenever a negativity is killed, we call it, what is the word for it? Even in English you speak, your original word goes. Vinasha. Yeah? Asura Vinasha. Why you call Vinasha? Just call Nasha. Nasha means to destroy. Why Vinasha? It is, we always stand for a special type of Nasha. Because no individual can be killed. He is a consciousness. How you can kill him? But his negativity is killed and he is saved. For example, when Vali was killed by Rama, so everybody, there is uproar, oh, hiding behind the tree, Rama killed Vali. Vali's wife came, Tara, and says to Rama, what kind of God you are? You killed my husband. So Rama said, okay, mother, ask your husband. You are angry, but your dying husband, you ask what he feels. Rama sat down. Sugriva was next. Vali's wife Tara was in front. Others also could be there. And Vali's head was in the lap of Rama. And when Tara is crying about the death of her husband, Rama is telling, okay, you have right to cry, you have right to blame me. But who is killed? Vali. Ask Vali what he feels. So Tara asked Vali, you are being killed. You will die in the hands of this Rama. And Vali with folded hands says, look at my good fortune. Janama janama muni jatana karahi antaramataka avatanahi. Rishis and munis and great saints, they meditate and meditate and meditate births after births, do not have a vision of Rama. Look at me, I am dying right in the lap of Rama. I should be the most fortunate one. This is a vinasha. It is not nasha. It is not destruction. It is a special type of destruction, just like to kill someone and to give anesthesia to somebody. It is something like that. You saved the person, apparently he goes to unconsciousness. Example. So this positive and negative energy to all our celebrations, you will find Deepavali will come. In Singapore, because people don't know the details. Oh, it's a celebration of victory of good over evil. Philosophy is that. So every celebration, whatever we celebrate, is all to remove the negativity from our life. So these 9 days, people do fasting, people do charity, people sing bhajans, people discuss the philosophy, people do ritualistic worship, people eat prasad, people are happy. And then end of the Dashami, people are very happy. Why we are happy? Because we are supposed to be free from these 9 bad qualities. We discussed in the last, all our cravings, which is called madhu. Kaitava is aversion or hatred. Dhumra lochana is our unclear vision or no purpose, no clear purpose of life, that goes away. Rakta bija is our inherent tendencies, which are called instincts. It's not easy to be free from our instinct. That's why you do fasting. Why people do fasting? In every religion there is fasting. When you do fasting, your senses become weaker so that you can control them easily. That is the only way to fasting. But we have made fasting and not eating synonymous. Actually, fasting doesn't mean non-eating. But it is now translated as non-eating fasting. I am fasting today. Means I am not going to eat today. Why you don't want to eat? What you will get by not eating? Spiritual benefit. If there was spiritual benefit of not eating, go to the very, very underdeveloped countries. People can't take food twice a day. People naturally are fasting. There are still in this world where people take the fine soil, earth, make biscuit out of it and eat. So idea is to be free from negativity is the whole purpose of puja. Then you have Shumbha and Nishumbha, doubting oneself, doubting others. Mahishasura is inertia or laziness. Chandamunda is a to be disagreeable, always in disharmony with people. And Munda is thoughtless or headless attitude. So we have to be free from this. For that's why it was. So that was we celebrated Durga Puja. Now we celebrate Kali Puja. These are all symbolism. We are worshipping that principle. But how to worship a principle? So we gave a physical form of that. Somebody gave. Few hundred years before, few thousand years before, we don't know. It's a female principle, so it must be a woman. But that woman is not a woman. It's a female principle, whom I can call mother. That principle is infinite. How to depict a woman which can be infinite? So she is blue. Just like ocean is blue. Just like sky is blue. Because sky is infinite. Ocean is infinite. We can't measure. Because we can't measure this infinite female principle, so she is made blue. Do you have any woman who looks like that? No. Then there are no clothes. She is naked. Why they should be naked? This is the principle. We all wear clothes. Even if you are 7 feet tall, also you can stitch clothes. Even if you are 10 feet tall, also you can stitch clothes. But if you are infinite, there is no cloth in this world which can cover you. So there is no cloth on Mother Kali. To show that she is infinite, this is the only principle. Otherwise there is no purpose of having that kind of form. And everything what you see in her, actually not only Kali, but also Vishnu, also Shiva, also Ganesha, also Kartikeya, all the forms of gods and goddesses are combination of certain qualities which are philosophical. So how to depict it? How to depict it? Okay, for example, without speaking, express to me a lion. You will do something like lion, no? This is symbolism. You don't need to speak the word lion, but you express, and we all understand that you are talking about lion. This is called symbolism. So all the forms of gods and goddesses are a kind of symbolism to understand that form of God. When Vishnu, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, why Shankha Chakra Gada Padma is not there in Shiva? Why there is the Trishula? Why there is a Jata, matted hair? Why matted hair is not there in Vishnu? Why Ganga is coming out only from Shiva, not of Vishnu? These are symbolism. To understand that principle, male or female, that principle, they say Durga has 10 hands. Which woman has 10 hands? No. Actually 10 also is very limited. Infinite hands. We have in Vedas we have a shloka. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. Legs also are thousands. How there can be a being with thousands of eyes and legs and hands? No, this symbolism. Eventually we are supposed to understand the divinity. So all that is positive is being worshipped. What is worship? You adore, you worship, you appreciate. What you appreciate? You appreciate that which you want. Oh, this cloth is so beautiful, this sari is so beautiful, this ornament is so beautiful. Why you appreciate it? Wow, I will be happy if I get it. Otherwise, there is no point of appreciation. You appreciate a person, wow, so handsome, so beautiful, means what? I would be so happy if I am like that. Idealizing something, dreaming about something, hoping about something. That's why you worship. Do you think that means we want to become like Kali? Not symbolism Kali, but all the good qualities or divine qualities which we put in Mother Kali, each and every quality we want to have. We worship Sri Ramakrishna. Men also worship, women also worship. Men, I can still think that they want to have a beard later. Women doesn't want to have beard. Then why you worship a person with beard? It has nothing to do with a person with beard. You are not here imitating or you are not here idealizing him physically. You are idealizing the spiritual qualities of that person. As soon as you see Sri Ramakrishna, you immediately devotion, renunciation, purity, these things will come in your mind. That is what we are supposed to imagine, thinking, imbibing when you do japa and when you meditation. Worshipping means idealizing. Worshipping means adoring. Worshipping means I want to be like that. People idealize. That's why they do the hairstyle like that. Maybe they start putting dress like that. Maybe ornaments like that. Maybe shoes like that. Maybe fashion like that. Because you idealize. But here we don't have a physical idealism. No. We don't wear the clothes as Sri Ramakrishna wear. We don't keep beard as Sri Ramakrishna is keeping. Not that point of view. We don't have a physical imitation here. But we want to imitate in a higher sense and not in a copying sense. There is a beautiful book called Imitation of Christ. If you have not read, you can go through it. So, this is called worship. All the good qualities are depicted, different combination of good qualities when are depicted, it becomes different forms. And then you pray. So all the agnostic will say, oh, do you think you pray and God will help you? Even those who pray also don't understand this. Swami Vivekananda once tell me which God ever helps you other than the God who sits in your heart. It is not external God who will come and help you. When you pray to those gods, actually you are praying to the same God who is sitting in your heart. Because the change will come within yourself. Change doesn't come from outside. So when you start thinking about this positivity, you start developing that positivity. Sometimes up to that extent that their external behavior also somewhat becomes like that. So much thinking about the Ishta. So idea is this, that to destroy the negativities, we have these different celebrations. Then after the celebration, we have prasad. Correct? So you eat prasad. What is prasad? Prasad, the word, comes from bliss. That bliss which you are supposed to get after doing spiritual practices. This food which we give symbolizes that happiness. It is not whether, oh, today prasad was not good. No, there is no good and bad prasad. Prasada is already you got. When you sang songs, when you did worship, when you gave Pushpanjali, when you hear the lecture, when you meditated, when you did japa, that happiness which you got, that is real prasada. This prasada symbolizes that. Everything in the name of ritual which we do is symbolism of something spiritual. So this spirituality comes with this. You start with something, you end up with something. Then you will find happiness is there, then you will find festivities are there. You wear good clothes and good food and jumping around and very, very happy. It is not happiness of wearing new clothes. No, you wear new clothes because you are happy. But this is Maya, as we told. Everything we are so much engrossed because we are more extrovert than introvert. So even if in the name of religion and spirituality what you do, you take it as a external activities. No, it is not external. External puja activities, prasad, etc., is a reflection of your internal purity and happiness. So that was the significance of Navaratri. One small announcement: next Sunday we will not have class. I'm going India. But again, 20th is Kali Puja, 19th is Sunday. So one day before, it's okay, Kali Puja is in the night, so Sunday morning we do preparation. So on 19th we will have our class, not on 13th or 14th, which is Sunday. Saturday also we don't have a class. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.